All right, today we're looking at lesson 49. We're looking at linear intercepts and then transversals. If you want to graph that for your notes, you can. You do not have to. Okay? What we're looking at is taking the line that they give us and finding the equation of it. I mean, you may already know how to do it. What two things do you need whenever you're making an equation of a line?
Y-intercept.
Okay. So what is our y-intercept? 1, 2, 3. Make sense? What is our slope? She says -3/2. You agree? Okay, so what would be the equation of that line? Does that make sense? Any questions there? Okay. I don't know. I mean, I don't know what she means by that. I don't know what you mean, but you might be right. Sorry.
Okay, go through.
I know where this is going. You can find the slope and then you figure out the y-intercept by getting a certain point.
Does it cross the y-axis? Eventually. Do we see where it is? But just because we don't see it doesn't mean that it doesn't cross, right? Like, even though we don't see it, we know that it is going to cross at some point. The only time that it won't cross the y-axis is when? Yes, when it's parallel to the y-axis, when it's a vertical line. Does that make sense? Okay, so somewhere down here, this line's going to keep going and it's going to cross the y-axis, right? Do you really want to continue the graph so that you figure out where it is? No. What you want to do instead, first off, we need our slope. That's a good point, right? That looks like a good point, but if you look up here, that's not a good point. Right there. Does that make sense? Do what? Well, it looks like it, but then, like, if you go, like, that doesn't work. Like, that would be a vertical line if you use that point. Does that make sense? And you can look down here. Here's another point. They look like they're equal distant from each other. And so from here, you go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then you go right 1. Does that make sense? So what would be the slope? So that's our slope. But we have to figure out our b, right? What you want to do on that one? Pick a point that is on the line. Whoop. You say what? 5, 0? Are there other points that are on the line? But that's going to be a pretty easy one, right? Do you know how to find your y-intercept given that information? Okay, see if you can find it. No? You agree? Yes, -35. So would you have really wanted to go all the way down to -35? No. Okay. So what would be the equation? Does that make sense? Any questions on that one? Okay. All right. I'll wait for you to draw the picture.
Can I draw a smaller version?
Yeah. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
Please don't. But we're not so strong anyway,
I'll wait for y'all to draw the picture. Okay, do you know the value of z?
Yes. I mean, well, you can figure it out.
Okay, what would it be? What do we know about these two angles? They add up to 180 degrees. They're supplementary. Does that make sense? Okay. What about angle P? It's the same thing as Z, which means it is also 27. Does that make sense? How could we find A and B? Sine and cosine. Why can't we use Pythagorean theorem?
Because we don't have to.
Okay. So if I want to find A, what would I do? If I wanted to find A, what would I do? Cosine of 27 is what? Does that make sense? So what would you get for A? Yeah, I can't do these. Yeah, I can't do these in my head. No, I said I can't do these in my head. So let me. I mean, not really. Not really.
I don't really know what it
I mean, a couple of them I can because you'll learn how to do those in your head later.
I don't even know what cosine is.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But like cosine of 30, 45, and 60 degrees, we'll learn those. And so it'll be like ones that you can do in your head, but like random numbers, I don't know how to do in my head.
Okay, 6.23.
hmm How are we going to find B?
Oh,
Not subtract it. Okay, you could use Pythagorean theorem. Okay, sine of what? Does that make sense? If you want to use Pythagorean theorem, you can.
no, it's very.
Yeah, 3.1779, so 3.18. Do you see how that works? Yeah, it's not drawn to scale. Obviously. Maybe it's in the book maybe in the book it's drawn to scale, but I can't draw stuff to scale. So, any questions on these?